Stephanie, great to see you as always. Happy New Year. Thanks for joining me back on the show. Is this the best outcome for the United States?
I mean, so far, so good. And for many Trump supporters, Greenland is the territory we didn't know we needed. But now that we're talking about it, President Trump brings up a lot of great points as to why the United States would want to take it over, if you will. And it's mostly about national security, and he's laid that out. And when we have strong national security, that means NATO countries, our European allies, have strong national security. And, I think it's hilarious, all the people who are hyperventilating over President Donald Trump's plan and his administration's efforts. They probably don't even know where it is on a map. So, if you actually look into the details of it, for example, like historically speaking, think about it. The U.S. has actually thought about acquiring it since back after the Civil War. And as recent as World War II, there were conversations and discussions over it, but it obviously never happened. And he also made another great point, which is if the United States doesn't take it over, then we have other issues like Russia or China trying to get in there. So, when it comes to Denmark, who do you want to deal with? Russia and China or the United States?
Absolutely. Stephanie, staying in Davos, which is where the World Economic Forum is, as we know, this time it was California Governor Gavin Newsom, who may well be the Democrat candidate at the next election. He's claiming that President Trump is a, quote, invasive species. Here he is. Have a listen.
He's an invasive species, Donald Trump. He's not. He is. He took over the Republican Party. Lindsey Graham, speaking of the knee pads, I'm sorry. This is tough stuff. I don't recognize these people any longer. I used to respect Lindsey. Lindsey, you think what I'm saying about Trump's tough? How about what Lindsey Graham said about Trump? How about the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio? These are the same people. And this is why for things to change, we need to change.
He then went on, Stephanie, to call the president a T-Rex in Davos. What do you make of these comments from Newsom? They seem, I guess, fairly deplorable.
Deplorable is a great way to describe it. And Rowan, I'm not sure how much your audience knows about California Governor Gavin Newsom. I know him well, his policies well, because I lived in the state for several years while he was in politics there, and also when he was newly elected governor. This was a time when, he was asking people to mask up and closing down restaurants, yet he was eating at restaurants without masks on. So that's who we're dealing with here. And so, he thought he was going to go to Davos and take the spotlight. Instead, he ended up embarrassing himself. I mean, our Secretary Bassan, he completely wrecked him on the stage, calling him, economically illiterate, worse than former Vice President Kamala Harris, and that Alex Soros is his sugar daddy, and that's why he's there. I mean, it was pretty hilarious. And so we know why he's there, because he is one of the top contenders for the Democratic primary. Democratic primary voters are looking to him to potentially be the Democratic nominee for president. I don't think the majority of Americans want what California has to offer and what he's done to that state. They don't want that at the national level. And to me, again, it's astounding that he's even gallivanting around in Davos when he has a lot of serious issues to fix in California. Think about the homelessness crisis that they've thrown billions and billions of dollars at that they just can't seem to solve. Also, the Palisades fires that happened about a year ago. Did you know not one home has been rebuilt? So to me, it's just totally egregious that he's out there running around, being smug, rubbing elbows with world leaders when he needs to be at home helping his people.
Absolutely, beautifully put. And do you think, what's your opinion, do you think he will run?
Well, it seems like the appetite's there. And if the appetite's there, people like Gavin Newsom, they're not going to reject power. So, I think this would be a great grift for him, even if he, didn't get very far. So I think he will run. And the reason why it's very obvious he's putting the signs out there is that he has focused his attention on President Donald Trump every single day. If you look at his Twitter feed, it's all just completely bashing the president every single day instead of focusing on himself and his state that he's leading.
Now, Stephanie, I want to talk about Minnesota, where reportedly ex-CNN host Don Lemon was caught in an anti-ICE, ICE is obviously the Immigration Customs Enforcement mob, an anti-ICE protest, wait for it, in a church. Yeah, there was a protest in a church. Don Lemon was there. You can see that on the screens right now. Well, a judge has reportedly declined to sign off on charges against Lemon, linking him with the protest. But, Stephanie, just on a broader note, what does it say about the current state of things if we have these so-called activists protesting in the sacred area of a church?
It's just totally vile and disgusting what happened. It's an embarrassment. And I am not surprised that Don Lemon got let off the hook here. That was actually my prediction on a segment earlier today before it happened. And it's because it seems like the left always gets away with everything. And Don Lemon claimed he was doing journalism there. But it's interesting because if you actually looked into the details of his day, he seemed like he was in on it, like he knew all about it. And let's say, for example, he didn't actually know about it. There was a point in time where he got to the church and he still had the opportunity to not go in. He should have paused for a moment and said, hey, you know what? Interrupting a church service, that actually might be illegal. So maybe we all shouldn't go in there. But instead, he let these people go in there. He went in there and then he proceeded to, slam the pastor with just absurd questions when the pastor was kindly asking him to leave and to stop making people feel uncomfortable. And I can't get the picture of the children sitting in the chairs, terrified, frightened by what was happening. And these are in the times where people are doing violent acts in churches and violent acts in school. So why wouldn't you think that somebody might hurt you? So again, it's really just a horrific thing that happened. And thankfully, there was some accountability. Some of the people who were the leaders of this protest were charged today. So that's good news. But I just hope that this sends a message to everyone else that this isn't going to be tolerated in the United States. Our Constitution will not be trampled like this. And so, again, very disappointed about the Don Lemon situation. But, people are going to have to decide if they want to keep tuning in to somebody like him because, he has his YouTube channel now.
Yeah. Well, I'm never surprised by the depravity and the depths that the left sink to. Stephanie Hamill, always great to chat to you. Thanks so much, and we'll chat again soon.